So I guess our first thing is to approve the minutes.
Call to order.
Call them. Yeah.
A call to order.
Oops.
5:33.
Apologize.
And actually, Dennis got the email and he read the minutes like in minutes. And I had made a mistake. I had said that Rob Watton had attended the retreat, so I will update that change.
I thought we were just pretending.
We kind of are, but I can't let that go now. Now I have to figure out how to upload those to our system with an update, but I'll figure that one out.
It's not that hard.
Okay. You have to
That's
do it.
okay.
Okay. Other than that, you guys can vote if the minutes are good.
Are the minutes good?
And just point of order, we're talking about the meeting minutes from the retreat,
Correct.
is the
Yes,
previous meeting. Okay.
I think.
So I move to approve the minutes once they're amended, removing Counselor Watton, Commissioner Watton.
These are the minutes. Sorry, I should have done that.
I want to make my noise louder. I don't know how.
I don't think you need to make a motion for that, though.
Am I going to second the emotion for accepting the minutes from the last meeting?
Dylan, Steve just asked if we need to make a motion to approve them. Do we need to?
Yes, you do need to approve the minutes.
Oh, yeah. No. Sorry, I was making a dumb joke that she didn't need the approval to raise her volume. That's
Got
fine.
it, got it.
I
Sorry.
caught that, just so y'all know. Dylan did, but I caught that, Steve. A little clever goes a long way.
So just to clarify, Nicole, did you?
I move to approve once I move to approve the minutes, pending the change that Councilmember Watton is removed from the list of present people.
I second that emotion, but I second that, is it motion? Yes. Do we have a full quorum or are we waiting for Dennis?
No, Dennis is here. We have a full quorum.
I'm right here.
Okay,
Yep, we are good. I typically won't start our recording unless we have a quorum. Otherwise, it makes a mess on our back end.
Okay, are we done with minutes and volumes? Just curious. You got your volume?
my volume is low and my hearing aids are turned up. I just did that again, so.
You're coming in loud and clear. We can hear you just fine.
Isn't that good?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're coming in loud and clear. So I think the first thing we were gonna do was take a look at everything that we brainstormed on. And there was quite a few, once I started kind of putting the list together and organizing it, there is quite a lot that we have that we have decided we want to do, which I think it's always great to be really, really out there and ambitious, but then you have to check, is it achievable? So I think I can put the Excel spreadsheet up onto we can all view it together and we can talk through what is realistic and what is there's a couple of marquee events in here. I think I can speak for Nicole. Plein air was not some simple put a few flyers out and it's done. There was a lot of coordination in it. And
Right.
went through most of the summer months all the way to picking finalists and then showing the artwork and voting and then organizing. So it's I would consider that a marquee event. And then the talk of an art fair and doing something more of an art fair versus doing 3 wine walks, I would think is more of a marquee event. Now, we're not unlimited resources, and we probably are all individuals that have lives with other commitments and family and so on. let's look at this with the critical lens of, yeah, we like the 2 marquee events, and what other little events can we fit in that maybe don't have as much coordination and work around them? What is everybody's thoughts on that?
Dennis and I were talking about working on the art fair. And we were also hoping to include the makers piece onto that so that it will have some little nuance that might speak to more members of our community.
What is the makers piece? I apologize. I'm not sure.
It has to do more with things like, what is it, John Ewell, who was doing our blown glass? That is not a fine art. It's not on canvas. It's not with a brush. So that is a maker.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
The person who, so we have Larry, who is a sculptor. That's a maker.
Okay, gotcha.
And anyone who's doing, and this is for Nicole Levy, anyone who's doing any textiles like knitting and such that, and working with leather, working with wood, that's a maker. So that's
understood. I got the concept. I guess I
Okay,
want to
so-
ask, when did the art fair become a fine art though?
Oh,
I thought it was just art. So I mean, because I'm open to just art. Like, I love the textile idea and bringing in people who do sculpting and people who do glass blowing. And I think you should open the doors to everybody.
right. So maybe if we add the word maker, we might be able to reach people who are doing regular woodwork and, have like the hutch they just made or something, be something that they could show.
Okay. I think we're, if I may redirect, let me pull up the Excel spreadsheet and we can look at the different events that we had all talked about doing and seeing
Okay.
if it's achievable. I am in agreement with you. Let's keep, like, I never thought of the concept of a fine art fair. I thought more of what you're describing.
Right, everything.
Everything is welcome except for tchotchkes and knickknacks that are made in China.
Right. Stuff
Like,
made somewhere
maybe
else.
not. Maybe not that.
And you just take the made in China ticket off of and put it on a price tag.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, I get that.
Okay. I will share my screen real quick. Let me see what I got on my screen. Okay, this one. Share it. Okay, so I think we can agree Lovelocks is probably not on the list. Like I said, we have to look at this with the critical eye of what we want to do for 2023.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's a great idea, but it's a no this year.
Right. And also it's, if we could do something like color coding, like red, yellow, and green, or something that makes it, green is the big go, like we know that that's going to be our marquee event.
Yeah, gotcha.
So that we can look at it at a flash and.
Well, I will consolidate this down to exactly what we're doing.
Okay.
You won't even have these other items on here.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
okay.
if I may just real quick, so I love the fact that you've got t-shirt sizes on here.
Yep.
Can you just real quick tell me what the guidance is? Like, are we saying extra small is a super easy thing to put on? Is this by effort or is this by like?
Yes. Yeah, extra small just means it's minimal amount. Like, this is more Dylan and Nicole with the utility box wraps. The commission group will pretty much be helping and help me, Dylan and Nicole, in terms of what the commission group, I thought it was more like selecting what kind of
I would agree.
Yeah.
The art.
art is on there.
Yeah, I'll say for us, it's not extra small, but your role would be extra small.
As I
Yeah.
say, if you wanted to do the permitting for me,
Yeah,
I'm down. You can.
Yeah. and contacting
Yeah.
all the entities and all
If you want
that.
to be a ghostwriter for the planning department.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about that. Maybe I'll have a side hustle. Maybe. So good question, Steve. I forgot that you hadn't attended, but yes, we put a bit of a t-shirt size to determine like what's our big effort. For instance, the art fair and the plein air, both of these are big efforts. And a lot of participation from this group to help. Like this is Donna and Nicole and Michelle and Dennis are the leads, but there's going to be Steve, can you help organize this? You know, and what I would expect out of the leads is you don't have to wait for our monthly meeting to get together and have conversations about your event. Or you can grab coffee on a Saturday afternoon to say, this is what we're planning to do, and then come back to the group and tell us like, this is what we've organized. I hope that's okay, Dylan. I know you like to have rules. You're not so
It's
good
okay.
with those. Okay. But you know, because
Dylan is like the dad and I'm like the mom. Like Dylan
Yeah,
has the rules and they're like, Nicole, we can just get that past her.
Yeah, and as long as we-
Just go ask Nicole.
As long as we don't hit
Yeah.
quorum, it's okay though, right? Like
Yeah, right.
two or
Yeah,
three can
so-
meet and yeah.
so I don't want people to think you have to only start organizing your event once a month. Like, you know, Dennis and Michelle, you're maybe going to start in January with like, you know, scoping out what your project is going to look like, and you know who can help with the merchants and who can help with that, and then come back to this group where we can talk about, hey, I can help out with, I'm throwing things out, like helping out with setting up volunteers for your event. So that's what I was envisioning our lead would have. I wanted to make it clear though, you don't have to wait for just this once a month meeting. This meeting is for us to come together, leads give updates on what their projects are starting in 2023. And if there's any road, hurdles or roadblocks, us as a group figuring out ways that we can help get around those. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I've always thought that it's the best approach for any group like this is that the meetings are to sync up and give status on things. The work, it's never a working session when the group comes together. It's to talk about what the work was that got done and what needs to happen for the next month.
Wrong one. So these would be green. Oh, that's a lot of green. I'm taking that off. It hurts my head. I'm taking that off. I will make them green later for you, but right now, no, that's a lot of green. Okay, utility boxes. Dylan, do you feel like this is something in 2023 it can be accomplished?
I think we could do a starter program for sure. We have a new
Okay.
public works director, new perspectives. I think your budget's about right. And so I think we could get started. I don't know that we'll do every single utility box we've ever dreamed of, but we'll get started.
But we could at least get, 1.0 version out
Yeah, I
and
think
then
once
progress from there.
we get one done that goes well, then we'll have our ticket. That's what I think will happen. Once we have no issues with the first one and it just gets handled, everything goes smoothly, I think we will not suffer
Okay.
the pain again and again and again, so.
So our goal would then be by end of 2023, 1 to 2 boxes.
Yeah, or whatever $1,000 buys you, essentially. As best we can.
Okay.
I like that.
Okay. What about murals? Something we can do? Murals downtown Ridge and doing a community like opening. We had a $10,000 estimated cost. We have a juicy budget. We want to kind of spend it.
Is this a new mural is what we're saying?
Because of that.
Yes, I
Yeah.
believe we had Bindlestick And what was the other one?
I think it was the other side of Carousel.
That's it. Thank you.
I know Carousel's been talking about that.
Yeah, so this is Nicole H. I am very excited about the murals. This is a really heavy lift for Dylan. So my thought would be, Dylan, if you're willing and available, I'd love to leave this on our list because once the easements get approved, I would be very passionate about this. However, we want to be thoughtful about your time and energy. So if you're like, I just can't continue to,
Yeah.
so Dylan, why don't you give us an update because it relies heavily on you.
Yeah, just so you guys know, I've been on family medical leave for a month, so my
His
update
first day
is
back.
I have reviewed 1,000 emails or something like that today. So that's my first update. My second one is I agree that I want to see the murals done in downtown more than I want a lot of projects to happen. I just am very much struggling with the time, and we're down a planner now, and some other things are just a heavy burden right now. So I want to see this. I'm not going to let an opportunity slide. I don't know if I can punch at it constantly. So somewhere in there is what I.
Well, and just to give some
Can-
clarity, what Dylan is saying is the easement of the legal document, that's hurdle number one. Then it has to go to planning commission. It has to go to community development. There's multiple governmental steps. A bureaucracy is that's such a hard word to say, that have to get done, that even if we weren't short a planner. So just to give you the whole story, it's a goal. It's something we both want, but it is a lot of time on a lean staff and there's multiple steps involved.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can leave
Dylan.
it if we're patient. Is that what you're saying, Dylan?
Yeah,
Sorry, Dylan.
I think
Well-
that's a good way to say it, Nicole, if they're patient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Dylan, would you prefer to have this one be something of a priority and remove this one as maybe next year?
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
that the-
because that's
the
where
murals-
we want to really talk about true capacity and where you want to dedicate your efforts. I do not want to see Dylan spread so thin that he can't accomplish anything. Too many plates in the air. So
Yeah.
if we say, hey, this one, we really want to see get done, because I think it'll have a huge significant impact, if you ask me, over a utility box being wrapped.
I agree, Donna. I think it has an artistic impact and it has a tourism impact as well.
I agree.
Right.
And yeah,
So
Right.
Dylan, how about we say this goes on hold for future, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have utility boxes in years to come. I don't think they're going away.
Well, you say that. I'm trying to get rid of them, so.
There'll be lots of opportunity to wrap them later. And what if we just say, because, I want to respect you, you have a full-time job too, along with supporting us. Let's dedicate your time and resources towards the murals.
Okay.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's great.
No,
Okay. Can we put 2024 on there and be a little?
I will be putting it on the hold list. I'm not going to
Okay.
commit it to any kind of year because we're going to go through the same exercise next year.
Okay.
And Dylan is like, I got 3 murals and I want to do 2 more next year. Well, then guess what? That's what Dylan's doing.
Good plan.
I don't know if that's going to happen. The Wing Loop Traveling Show. Nicole, you had a passion around this one. It was a small effort and it had a little bit of budget to it. What's your thoughts on this one for you? And that was Nicole Wiebe.
Yeah.
are we unmuted? Sorry, we were having the Wing Loop traveling show.
Yes.
Yes, that is doable. I just need to get through the holiday lights and all of that, and then I'm gonna reach out to her, so that's doable. And I actually heard from them this week, and the 2 exhibits that we could consider are not currently out anywhere, so there wouldn't be an inventory issue as well.
Okay. So when did you think, what time of year would that be in?
I would say that maybe like a February, March, if I'm being honest,
Okay.
Cause the next month I'm busy with holiday lights and then I take the last 2 weeks of December off. So then I would be working on this in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we don't have anything planned in that time frame. So, I think it's a nice
So,
fit. Yes, ma'am.
Please don't call
Hi.
me ma'am.
I call everybody ma'am. It's a polite thing. I say
Okay,
yes, sir.
well,
Miss
well,
ma'am.
that's good. I'm hoping that we can get one more column after description and put it in something like projected time frame or projected month or something. So that
That's
when,
what that's what I was doing here.
oh, never
These are-
mind.
No, you were thinking just like I was, though. I mean, because I thought that right after we got on, I was like, I need
Right,
to put
it's,
kind of
it's
a time-
because my brain is so left to right kind of a thing. And the description is, for me, is so much more powerful than the date, that it was like, oh, this is what it looks like, and this is when we're going to do it because it takes us much time.
Yeah. All right. This one's going to be probably from June. I was going to assume June to August or Sept.
Okay.
Timber. Kat's not here, but I know that she wants to put on a few chocolate blocks, and they're very, very small and inexpensive events. So those were something that she had on her radar. I'm going to speak for Kat on that one. So City Hall gallery and reception in the winter months. There was no lead attached to this. And I'm not sure, this was
So
something
that was
Sally
something I was
Mayo-
wondering if Steve, you have a history of that, if you ever knew about that. Sally Mayo had been doing it all these years, but it's the little bars here in the lobby, and then they have the wires that hang on. Sally Mayo thought you'd be a perfect person for that. Wasn't that nice of her?
Yeah, her and I had chatted.
Okay. I think if we can get the Wing Luke show, then we wouldn't need a City Hall gallery set up, and but it's always nice to have, but it takes a call for artists, although Sally had the list of artists that were interested. So it's not a heavy lift, but I would say maybe that's TBD of when that would take place.
What about a spring?
So, and
Possible.
that she had that on a rotation, right? It was like four
Yeah.
times a year sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can pass on her list of contacts. Sadly, I got really sick when the smoke happened. Like, that's why I missed the thing, and I kind of lost my chance to tie things up with Sally before she left. So, yeah, if I can get my hands on the contact list and just a little bit of how to, I can still obviously call her on the phone, but yeah, I'm happy to do that.
I text Sally a couple of times a week.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I really miss that kid. So I would like to, I'll pass that on in a text if that's okay. Unless you want to do that. Steve, do you want me to pop you Sally's telephone number?
Oh, no, Sally and I go way back. I've got her contact.
You do.
info.
I bet you go further way back than we do. That's good to know. Okay. Yeah, so she'll be wide open to do that.
So Steve, so Sally had her way of doing things, and if you're feeling like 4 times is too many, like you want to just do it semi-annually, it's going to be kind of your call on how you want to organize and do this activity, this event. So just FYI, because I mean, Nicole and I redesigned a bit of the plein air, and we even have some more thoughts on what we want to do on plein air, even though it was a Sally the Sally one, that was her kind of way and baby, we changed it a bit more. So please bring your thoughts and ideas. It doesn't.
Yeah. I just need
what
that.
it was
that.
before.
I need that base recipe list though, just to
Oh,
kind of start
yeah.
with, like the contact, and then as far as like number of times, how often to do it and stuff. Usually, because I did the same. I used to own a business on the Ridge, and we did a rotating art wall, and the pace of replacing the art wall or it just always depended on kind of how deep the queue was of artists, right? So if there's a lot of artists that want to be seen, then we can rotate it through faster. And if there's, if it's harder to find people to participate, then it would slow down a little bit. And I will absolutely just make that happen.
Do you think, spring would be your first installation or change, or I'm not sure what to call it? Gallery
Yeah,
setup?
I mean, because it's a blank wall right now, right? Is it?
Yeah, more or less.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
So maybe a winter.
Probably first thing after the holidays, because all the artists will be busy and stuff. So we'll set something up for Q1.
Okay, that sounds good.
And
This is
Steve,
Nicole H. Can
I
we-
also have all the artist contacts that we had for the wine walk. I have all the ones that Sally Rackets used to use for years ago and all the new ones that I found. So I could kick that to you as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Great.
It's not a bad idea for us to have a, between the Mount Si Artists Guild and all the other, the Fall City Artists Guild and all the different groups, up and down the valley, is probably good for us to keep some sort of
And
directory.
I have that list. I'm a member of that as well. So that'll be swell.
I'm going to come back to our two marquee because I know cider crawl we talked about. Dylan, we talked about cider crawl.
That time.
We're going to put it on hold though.
Yeah.
And we're going to put on, we tabled that one, but Kat, I'm not sure where her thoughts are about Lucky We Live in Snoqualmie event or what it was going to look like.
I think she's thinking like maybe that's, get some kids to paint some rocks and have maybe that be the Lucky We Live or the theme, and then, the hunt for those rocks.
And maybe this is something when she returns next month or something, I'll ask her more about that one.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's tied to this. Part of the art fair. Maybe there's something for kids in there.
That's a possibility. It could overlap for certain. The other thing is it would be nice to have themes or something to keep, because if it starts in the spring, I don't know if everyone's going to let their rocks dry long enough to keep them from dissolving once they paint them with acrylic in the rain. So that weather is a factor on that.
Yeah, I think we need Kat here for the conversation and what her vision is. Whether it's, because there was a whole lot of stuff we threw out there, but we just love the theme, Lucky We Live in Snoqualmie. We don't know what she was going to put around that, but I thought it was good. We'll have to have her give us more of what her vision is. Let's see. There was a pop-up gallery, Nicole. I think that was you. We tabled that one because we don't think there's really maybe ability to do that yet.
I agree. Let's put it on hold.
Hold. Creative District Certification Application. I think that was you, Michelle. You had a high interest in looking at this certification and putting Snoqualmie on the map as a creative district.
Exactly. That's a huge undertaking, and Dylan let us know that briefly in the meeting before last. And I looked at the qualification questions to start with, and I think there's like 4 pages of all the things that you have to be able to address and qualify before they'll even look at Snoqualmie's project or interest in on the application. So
So you're thinking put it on hold? You don't want to lead that effort, or?
So is that staff heavy then, is what we're saying?
it takes a lot of there's an awful lot to research and tease out before. In order to
I was
qualify.
looking at it too. It's a big lift and I'm actually not sure we're quite there yet.
We
Okay,
don't have the money in our budget, literally.
Well, there's that, and I just think that I don't think we're enough art heavy yet in our community.
okay.
I was driving though, and I don't remember where, but I did see one of these signs on the freeway, so I can't remember where I was when I saw it.
Oh,
But
that's pretty cool.
yeah, and it caught my eye. I was like, oh, that's that thing, but I think I don't think that Snoqualmie is quite there yet.
Well, I think that's something we can go ahead and look at that requirements when we get to our mission statement about, let's break it down and see what we need to do to get us there.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? To make us a designated
That's good.
art district. Okay,
Yeah,
so that one's on.
So let's maybe say, because I think that I think that's one of those things where if we wait until we're ready, we might not even realize we're ready or what we're waiting on. Maybe we could say that this year it's like for 2023, the plan is to build the roadmap of where we are,
Right.
what we need to do to even start the process, and then take it from there. Because I think that's the sort of thing that we could have a commissioner do and not just drop it on Dylan and Nicole's lap.
Yes,
I
exactly.
love that.
Later, we're
Uh-huh.
having our mission statement discussion because I believe Dennis that brought this up about like, what are we aiming for? And if there is a lot of, within the application process, particular items that we'll need to get to, we need to achieve to even be considered, then that could be part of our mission and part of our, exactly what I was saying was part of our planning of that's our future goal, is to get into this creative district certification.
That'll be great.
But with that being said, Michelle, would you be interested in breaking down what those deliverables are, what those things are
I
that
would
are
love to-
needed?
Yeah. I would
Okay,
love to.
that would be great, because that way we can at least, put our, wait a minute, what happened? Dennis put himself in there too. I'm sorry. Let me delete you out.
I told you.
So,
That's how I got here in the first place.
Keeps going.
so we're gonna just call this one research. Okay, yeah, I know data's already there, so quit having a fit. Research.
While you're on that line, can you give Michelle one more L?
I'm sorry.
Oh, don't be. That's the Italian way, and I would love to be Italian, but I'm French.
Now, there's been budget cutbacks. We can only do one L at a time.
That is true. Lots of budget cutbacks everywhere. Okay, I had down doing some hosted open mics, but it wouldn't, if I'm able to do this, I won't be able to start it until after the holidays.
Right.
But I'll just keep it open for right now. Something going on at my office. Okay. And I don't know who put community survey here, so I'm not sure how to do this one.
I think Dennis, you did that, right?
Was that you, Dennis?
Well, and I have a bit of an update on that. I have reserved a space for the February utility insert, which is, for those of you that still get a paper water bill, you can do a full page, or like, imagine an 8.5 by 11 cut into thirds, one of those little inserts. So I thought if you guys wanted, we could work towards, on that insert, which would go in the utility bill stuffer, would be just a few brief questions, like a survey, asking the community, what do you want in arts, or what do you want to see? And then also any of the events that we know that you guys would be having, we could throw that out there, and it could be kind of a save the date.
Okay.
But that might, I don't know if you guys, maybe that'll steer you towards it. I don't know.
How much does it cost? You should put money into that then too.
Yeah, the cost, I need to, I would say probably between $500 and $1,000, but
Yeah.
we can offset that probably with some other budgets. I'm not gonna let the cost
Yeah, just.
get in the way, because I do think it's a good tool to reach out to the community. Let them know you guys are here.
I actually saw on Pineapple Life, a mural. It's,
Yeah, You
it's
guys
like
paid for that.
but our name is on it,
I had them do that. I had them
which I
say,
loved.
well, you guys paid for it, and I thought, and I was up there last week, Donna, and I didn't realize it was still on the window, but it is kind of timeless, although it's kind of summery and we're getting into winter, but yeah, it's nice to see that there.
Well, do we want to think about doing something for holiday season with painted windows?
Yes, I think that would be
Because
really awesome.
Carousel, I know Brandy at Pineapple Life would probably be like, yeah, go ahead, paint my window. She's so
Yeah.
happy.
Yeah, no, I think that would be a good idea.
Because I mean, it's not that expensive and it gets our name out there if nothing else. I mean, so
Mhm.
maybe I need to put that on here. Painted. What can I do to help on that?
Can you type in Windows just to keep them separate? That way I don't catch weird email that I have no idea what someone's talking about. It's just, I have a feeling already.
I think you guys are all artists here, and sometimes what I'm gonna say is, I will say, artists sometimes are artists, and they're not necessarily good at the financial side of things or keeping things straight. You know, they're just all creative. So there's 2 mural artists, and I'm at the point though, for these windows, there's only one that is easier to work with than the other. So that being said, if you guys want that, I can reach out to who that artist is and see if she's interested in that, and, you know, give her the budget. And I know Brandy would be open to it at all times.
Mm-hmm.
Seems to be.
She does.
I need someone that understands that cities are net 30. And we do better, but to paint something and say, where's my check? It doesn't work that way. And that, you see what,
Gotcha.
that's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
I can't do that anymore. I just can't, and our finance department just can't. And so if we're gonna do that, we collectively, me doing this on behalf of you guys, I need to work with someone that understands how that works. I ripped my hair out.
Wow.
So-
Okay. There
Yeah.
seems like a story there, but
There is.
yeah.
So if you want a mural, I'm happy to do that. And maybe even to see if one of the artists is available, you know, for the winter season. That could be lovely up there.
You basically just said, but we're doing it my way.
Pretty much.
I'll do it if we do it my way.
Well, but it sucks because because Dylan and I are the ones that have to do the finances for you guys. And
Is
so-
there any contract or anything? Doesn't it state it in the contract? Like this is a net 30? sort
It
of deal?
does, yeah.
Okay, but they just don't read the contract, maybe?
Yeah.
Gotcha. No, I'm familiar. I've had it happen. Yeah. Got it. Hey, net 30 is better than what most businesses are doing nowadays. My company is going to net 120.
Really?
Oh,
Cash flow.
Artists
Yeah.
are supposed to be starving artists anyway, so.
That's the line I hear, Steve, and I'm, you know, but yeah, it's net 30, but we do a pretty good job of getting it through within 2 weeks. So anyhow, we don't need to belabor the point. I can reach out to another artist, and if we want to try to get
All right.
something.
Okay, so we've kind of narrowed our list
That
down.
might
We've got
be-
a couple marquee events. We've got some smaller things within the full breadth of the year, because I think we all discussed, Steve, we discussed the fact that, you know, currently everything's scrunched into 3 months, June through August, maybe a little in September. And that we kind of wanted to spread things out a little bit. And that's why I was saying in the city gallery, would that be something could be more in the winter months or fall months? Because we we want to try and spread out the opportunity to bring art to our community throughout the entire year versus just the little nuggets. That comes to calendaring. Nicole Levy, were you able to take a look at the calendars that the city might have, or any event calendars that we currently have for 2023?
Still fine tuning that. I know some of the big ones, like I know when Snoqualmie Days is gonna be, when Bowen Classic. So basically in August, I won't be doing any of my movies or music in the park in August. Maybe the first week in August, I'll probably be doing those in July, but that's about as far as I've gotten.
When's Snoqualmie Days?
Snoqualmie Days is, let me look at a calendar here.
Third weekend in August?
Yeah, you're right. Okay, so Snoqualmie Days, I think is gonna be the 18th, 19th, or that weekend, and then I have
Boeing
the-
Classic?
Let me see if I can look it up here. I asked Boeing Classic. Hold, I'll look it up.
How about we get, because these are more the summer months, do we have anything in? We'll just
Okay,
start
Boeing-
quarter by
Boeing
quarter.
Classic is August 7th through the 13th.
What if we, because these are all the kind of the summer months, what if we just go and focus more on the first quarter of 2023, I apologize. What kind of community events are happening then that we need to be aware of or organize around? Anything?
We do the community egg hunts, and then there's usually arbor and Earth Day.
Egg hunt?
Yeah,
April? Is that?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's Q2, okay. I'm
Well,
thinking
it depends-
January.
It depends on when,
Yeah,
well, but
when
there's
is-
really nothing going on in January and February.
Okay, so we got nothing that's gonna get in our way of planning anything.
Right, this is true.
That's awesome.
That's good.
Steve, go crazy at the gallery. That's good.
Yeah, Easter is Sunday, April 9th next
Yeah.
year,
Yeah, so that's
so.
in April.
So the
Okay.
work for that would go Q1.
Mhm.
Okay, so calendar, I think what we'll do is we'll start we'll just look at every 3 months. We'll start with January, February, and then maybe in February, we'll look at the next 3 months. Okay, where's everything at? What are your thoughts, team?
That makes sense.
Except for the marquee events, those are the ones that we're gonna need to plan out around our summer months here and pick dates. I know this is plein air's typically been attached to railroad days. Nicole, it doesn't have to be. I mean, it's nice to have the activity of the railroad days there for that day. I think it draws people in to go and view it and so on. So we could talk about that. I think your first, Dennis and Michelle, your first probably big milestone will be selecting a date. So of when you're going to want to have your art fair.
Right.
So that will probably be the first thing you two should meet up on and kind of look at dates and so on. And Nicole, Weeby can probably help in terms of if that's a good community date or not. And maybe it is around railroad days, if you can get that whole back.
I'd like it to be separate.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the overlapping interest and the lack of parking.
Yeah, it's so
I
take
think-
that back with you and Dennis to have a, discussion looking at calendars. You hear the Boeing Classic in August. I'm not sure what's going on in July, but it seems like that's probably going to be your biggest first step is kind of mapping out a project plan and getting your date out there. Am I missing anything, Nicole Weeby?
No,
Right,
I
'cause-
don't-
so
I don't think so.
plein air, right? The advertising for that starts in March or April, right?
That's
In a
when we,
perfect world.
well, and that will be where Nicole and I will be getting together to determine our date, and then we're going to map out our project plan as well, which is going to be, we want to see, I think I did an after action review, basically, like this is what went well, this is what could have been better, so on. And I think Nicole and I both agreed that having a longer runway of advertising, especially to artists and just to the community, would been well. But we still got 25 artists, so I can't complain.
Yeah, because Waters was the guy who started plein air. I know that because a lot of the advertising and marketing was centered through the watercolor community, and they have this like quarterly newsletter and things like that. That's because a lot of the arts aren't constant communication, right? So yeah, it was setting off warning bells in my head. Just, don't forget, be ready in March. So
Yeah, that's
yeah,
we want
you
to
plan. You got a plan. You're good.
Yeah, Nicole and I really, our goal is to get this get it to be a marquee plein air event where maybe it's hundreds of artists. So
yeah, I was gonna say,
that is our goal.
and say, Steve, we definitely appreciate that. And I know you're new to us, but Donna and I are kind of schedule nuts and project nuts. We have different project management skills. So I think you guys will be pleasantly surprised. I think we'll have a plan in place that you will all appreciate. And while, I'm part of the Watercolor Society and I appreciate that, I think that's a great idea. There's also a number of other art organizations.
Oh yeah, for sure. I know that there's that magic date.
Yeah, we love the tip, and more to come.
All right. So
Can I just say before you guys go off on that I think it's awesome that you are thinking of growing that. That being said, I would suggest that maybe you give it some strong consideration to not have it be part of Snoqualmie Days. I think it's an event that can stand alone. And also I have found in August, although it came late this year, the smoke in the air, not doing as many events in August, and being that that's an outdoor event. I don't know, that would just be my tip, is maybe that is its own event or some other time in the summer. Snoqualmie Days might want some sort of art element from the Arts Commission for that event, but it could be painting murals on the windows like you guys did this year.
it could be a chalk the block.
Yeah.
It could be a number of things. It's all really, really good feedback, good feedback. And something that we're going to consider. We're not attached to Railroad Days. I think the only thing I liked about it is it did get people to come view it, where if it's a standalone event, I don't see that happening.
True.
So,
True.
and maybe it becomes a standalone once it becomes bigger. Once you start having 50, 100
I have an
artists.
idea. Does it look like it might be a good cousin for the art fair?
It might be. But that's something we can look at. It might be a good cousin for the art fair, because then you have artists there.
Right.
Okay, so this is what we have. This isn't really an event. This is more research. Michelle, I love that you're going to take the lead on just determining what it is that application requires for us to get to be even considered.
Right. And I also, I still want to be part of what's happening in the public schools. And I'd love to work with Kat, which she's going to have to talk to me about. She might want to take the junior high and high school, and I'd like to do the elementary to get kids involved in this, in her spring small $100.
Well, yeah, chat up with Kat on that one.
Yeah.
Like I said, this meeting is just simply for us to bring the leads together and talk about where they're at with their event or where we can help. And that's what
Okay.
we're gonna do. So heck, you got her phone number. I'm pretty sure you do. Give her a ring and say, hey, let's talk about the lucky we live in Snoqualmie and what our plan is. And let me help on that. Okay?
Yes, that's what I'd like to do. Thanks.
That sounds great. Okay. This is what we have. Is this achievable? Does everybody think?
Can I ask a quick question?
You can, of course.
What kind of got me on this was thinking about the research thing. When you guys were at the your most recent meeting that I wasn't at, so apologies there. Was there anything that was an enormous project that you were going to see triple XL in 2024 that would require consideration in 2023 to even make it happen? Is there anything like that? I just, because if you don't address it now, it won't. Yeah.
Understood. Yeah. I think the art fair and the plein air are our triple XL because the intent is it will grow.
Okay.
I'm speaking on behalf of the art fair people, though. I would like them to share their thoughts.
That's a good point. Because being an open-ended kind of a situation where if we indeed get some makers involved, then it's going to be bigger. And I really like the conversation that we had regarding having it on Fall Avenue, having that closed off. And that's something that Dylan didn't hear about, maybe. I don't know how that works. But
It's a difficult road to do a full road closure because there's a few homes on that road.
okay, so I'm just thinking of where the commercial stuff backs into each other.
Yeah.
You know, just that one block between the same block that we have on Railroad Avenue during the wine walk, but make it the backdoor walk.
I would say for the art fair, start to maybe orient your brains to using the Railroad Park location, just because of the falls being difficult to close. And also Sigillo will probably be dropping permits to starting construction on the King Street lot in 2023. So that, not that you guys have used that, but just know that that's going to be some potential activity downtown.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, if you think there wasn't enough parking for some things before, get ready for a construction site and construction equipment to be down there.
Yeah, there is
Oh, boy.
parking. People just have to walk more. They
Yeah,
don't.
they love that.
They love walking.
Yeah.
Not.
Okay. I feel like this is a pretty good list. It's got enough variety. It addresses all ages, adults. I think this is all ages too. I think it's also it's going to span most of the year versus just being centralized into our 3 months. Maybe June through September, our big marquee events is what we focus on, and we don't really have much more going on. I will send this out this week. At our next meeting, let's commit to having some timing and dates for what events we're leads on.
Okay.
And, it sounds like you're, Michelle and Dennis are probably going to need to kind of really have an idea of where you could have an art fair.
Right.
So, and that's probably some discussions with Dylan and Nicole of like, is this street a good street? Maybe you take a little city walkabout.
I like that. I like that.
What you got? So next meeting, let's we'll commit some timing and dates on here, and each of the project team leads will give an update of where you're at with creating a small project plan, and maybe it's a very, very small project plan. And then Nicole and Dylan, you have your wing loop and murals. So what do we guys think? I feel like I'm talking too much.
I feel like, well, for the mural, I'll just speak for mine. The mural one, I feel like just an update on whatever my current status is. That's something I'm happy to give. And where I see issues, where I see potentials, where that might lead us if we take different routes. That's kind of what I'd like to be able to give you all. And then as we get really close, like if I start to button down on an idea, I think it will just need a more specific opportunity for me to talk about what it's gonna all entail. Designs, all that kind of stuff, materials, whatnot.
I think that having a mural downtown would be pretty exciting. And then we can have an opening, or what if it would be cool if it was part of the art fair and we had the art fair opening mural community event.
Wow.
No
Wow.
pressure, Dylan, no pressure.
I was gonna say,
He's like, whoa.
isn't there any fall events we could go for?
Whoa. Okay, next on our agenda, but actually, if I may I poke something into our agenda though, Nicole Wiebe?
Mhm.
I noticed our vice chair position is open and vacant.
Yeah, I wondered about that myself in the sense that if, I know you guys are sharing the chair, so we could put one of you as the vice and one of you as the chair, but know that you both share those duties.
She's saying our dumb software is too smart for its own good. And it wants to force us to put official titles on there. It doesn't like co-chair.
Okay, well, that's a dumb software. All right. Well, I thought we were gonna have somebody volunteer.
Did you want a
to-
vice chair?
to be
Okay.
a vice chair. I can be a vice chair. I'm fine with it. I don't actually have a passion either way. Or do we want to wait for Kat?
I think we should wait for Kat. And
Okay, that's fair.
yeah, I think it's a good idea.
That is fair. We can do that. Okay, now we're on to mission statement discussion. And I
Can
think,
you bring it up? Yeah, I looked at it on the website and I found the website for the Arts Commission interesting. Dylan's gonna get to it.
How do I get to it?
oh, I can stop
Go to the
sharing.
website. Go to the website.
The city website?
Mm-hmm. And then your government, and then go down, and then commission arts.
I'll share my screen here in a sec.
So if you look, so there is the mission statement. And then if you scroll down, Dylan, keep going. There's all these duties.
Can you scroll
Which-
back up?
I don't think that these duties, I don't feel that we're in a position at this time right now to change, plus they seem to be current and relevant. But we can go to the mission statement.
And we're going to take out the last, the last sentence, finally Friday Art and Wine Walk has to be, is there any hyphen in paint out, or is it's,
No,
okay, good.
So does everyone agree taking out finally Friday Art and Wine Walks?
yeah, since we're not
Yes.
doing.
So,
Just
Um,
stating the obvious.
okay,
Unless,
So we're
unless
gonna
you're
put
putting
it-
one on
so
in
it's
your
going to be
house,
an
I don't
art-
know.
art fair.
Your house,
maybe?
Donna.
Would art fair be there?
I think this should be rather vague than to
I
be
do
so
too.
specific.
I agree.
I'm in
And
agreement.
it's very event heavy, and I don't, even the developing designs for city streetlight pole banners is not necessarily an accurate statement.
So
And the classes at a reduced cost. I mean, I just feel like this needs to be a little bit more higher level versus ground floor.
yeah, I actually, so on that comment, while we were talking about plein air, I happened to look at Living Snoqualmie. And there was a article talking about that. And there's a line that says, let's see here, 13th year for plein air paint out. Says the event is hosted by the Snoqualmie Arts Commission, which has a mission of nurturing a vibrant art scene in Snoqualmie. To me, that sentence almost captures an entire mission statement. Just in terms of making it very plain, very simple, and kind of to the point. I think we can flesh it out a little bit more, but I think that making it more general as opposed to trying to make it event and specific heavy is more kind of the mission of a mission statement. My thoughts.
That's good. I think it gives more room for growth, and without nailing us to deciding right away what's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think as long as we maybe add more regarding the community and kind of what we're, that we're community focused as far as developing this vibrant art scene. And we can finesse the wording, but I think that just something a little more general as a mission statement is what I'm more familiar with.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. I think what's on the web page, the part that is kind of key is I think the part that we are kind of legally bound to do is advising the city on permanent public art installations. Like that.
I agree, Steve. Yeah.
That's our core competency, right? So
Yeah.
if we did nothing else, but we did that, we would actually be meeting our minimum requirement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah, I feel like it can be vague in terms of events, but I do like that we're here to help support and develop public programs for the arts. I don't know if it's public programs or just support the arts within the Snoqualmie Valley. Advise on the public installations, and then develop events that introduce art to our community. I don't think we need to be so specific of what events are, because we may change all this again next year. We might be like, that blows, we're not doing it,
Well, and I think that's really the purpose of a mission statement, is it's to provide guidance for councils as they evolve through the years, not to be just stuck in kind of the past.
Yeah, so I feel like this could be completely evolved. Hey, Dylan, go to
Yes.
your community.
Okay, give me, sorry, I went rogue on you guys for a second.
Yeah, you did.
All right.
So go to your community, and it'll have a drop down.
Okay.
Someone sounds familiar with the website. Communications is
Now
gonna
scroll.
love that.
Hit under art
Mhm.
events.
Doing-
What? Yeah, click
I
on that.
get that taken off.
I was gonna say, because it got a lovely picture of you, Nicole.
Am I on there? Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Oh, wow. Wow.
Oh, wow.
Okay, we're gonna take that page down.
Did I?
So
Yeah.
I have a question, just for the sake of a kind of next steps plan. Dennis, are you interested in taking a first stab at maybe redlining this and sharing it with the group, in the next week or two, so we can kind of digest it and maybe vote on a revised mission in our next meeting? Is that?
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. Sure.
So I think probably taking December off, it coming back at it in the new year, and that would be one of the things on the agenda would be mission statement.
Yes,
And-
finalized mission statement.
Yeah, and if anybody else had any,
Yeah, and I'm happy to take any input. I'm the newbie here, so please.
Well, and feel free to send it around before the meeting.
Yeah,
Like, hey,
Okay.
guys, any feedback, thoughts, so on.
perfect.
I
Thank
think
you.
the meeting purpose will be like, this is what we're done. And we just vote and get the blessings of Dylan.
Yeah.
And maybe
Dylan,
Nicole.
what are the rules on us emailing large group?
maybe mom,
Yeah.
maybe mom.
Emailing the large group, it's a much bigger deal if we were a council.
I know, I
I'm
had
fine
that, I
voting
had that
on.
same thought.
So we just
Technically.
can't reply all. I think
Yes.
is what I believe that's the rule. We can
Yeah.
email to everybody, but we can't have it be a conversation.
Yes, that's the
All right.
Yeah.
general rule.
Yeah.
There is exceptions, like we're allowed to do it. I'm allowed to submit an email to all of you, giving you information. There's like weird things like that, but honestly, as long as we're not having accidental arts commission meetings, that's essentially what we're trying to avoid. So if it starts to feel like a reply all email and you have a quorum of arts commissioners and you're discussing arts commission things all separately from the rest of the public, that's the danger.
Right.
One-on-one conversations, nobody cares. I don't know. It thread that needle is my request.
Or like, so if Dennis sends it out, reply all, he could say, each of you, if you're interested, reply to me individually. Dennis could take everyone's responses, collate it, and then come up with something.
I knew there's gonna be a comment somewhere.
I can use my old timey voice and say, when we were building Outlook.com, we spent a lot of time working through message retention, and that was a pretty big bit of our job. So
Okay. Steve, do you run the Snoqualmie Arts Commission Facebook page?
I built it, but
Okay.
I was taken off when I had to leave, when I left the commission. I said that I would run it again, but I don't know if I don't think I've been added back to it.
Okay, now I stumbled across it. I know that sounds bad. I should have been more aware of it, but I stumbled across it, and I just wondered who did it, because whoever's doing it, I feel like is kind of taking some liberties. We are the Snoqualmie Arts Commission, and we're not like the Snoqualmie Valley Arts Commission or the North Bend Arts Commission. And so there's a lot of things on there. I understand the intent because it's arts as a whole, but so I didn't know.
It was handed off
now.
Yeah, so I can clean it up for you. I also built and still have the plein air paint out Facebook page as well.
Okay.
If anybody's
So wait, so you
interested.
are posting on there, or someone else is?
I am not. I have not
Interesting.
been doing it, right? It's because it was a group. We did just under a quorum worth of people were administrators on the Facebook pages.
Just under a quorum.
Just under a quorum. So that we didn't.
I have some information on that.
Yeah.
I think that Gail Morrison from the art gallery was the Facebook human all this time.
All right. But you
Because
see,
she
I just need to
belonged
point out
to
the risk in that.
She
She's
belonged,
part
I
of the
understand
gallery.
she belonged, didn't she belong to the Arts Commission?
I don't know, Steve, did she ever belong in your experience, Gail Morrison?
She might have been in the gap one after I left. So yeah,
No,
yes, she was.
Yeah.
She was, because she had the photo repository, the Google Drive for the Finally
okay.
Friday Art Walk stuff. So I've got all these things to talk about on when we get to the open bit of the agenda.
Okay.
Well, we're there. We're at the open.
Okay, yeah, I opened it. Open that door.
Yeah, so so we talked about the Facebook pages. I will double check with and I make sure, I haven't opened it up to see if I've been given admin permissions again yet, but then I'll clean that up immediately. Like I said, I have the plein air one if anybody's interested in using that as part of our planning. The Google Drives, I have migrated everything off of Gail's old pages into the one unified place for the Arts Commission. I've not added all of this year's photos to it yet, though, because we were gonna be messy. We were gonna be there's a storage limit to so I was hoping to find some guidance. Whoever was managing the Finally Friday Art Walk photographs, I would turn in 30 or 40 photos and they would trim it down to like 4 or 5. I don't know who was doing that, but I'd like to talk to them or find out what the plans are, and so that we
Gail.
can. Yeah. So if that was the case, then I just want to make sure I don't screw anything up in terms of what the plans are there. So if anybody has any questions about Google Drive storage or the pictures from any of the events or the, that I've got all the admin perms for all of those pages, and I can answer any questions in kind of basically any of the tech.
So my
places.
question, does anybody in this current commission have access to the drive?
Yeah, well, I mean, I do.
And other than,
so I
does
can, yeah.
we're all new. Does anybody else, just out of curiosity? Donna, do you?
I do not.
Dennis doesn't, I don't think, because he's new. Michelle, do you?
I don't.
So I think it would be, my question would be, could we just add one or two other people?
Oh, for
who
sure.
are-
Yeah. I will publish all of that to all of us. Yeah.
Maybe we just need to update. That would be I didn't even know we had a Google Drive till right now.
Yeah.
So-
So this was my first time, my first chance to kind of talk to everybody.
Awesome, thank you.
Because I was helping to manage all that on a volunteer basis. And then I was the photographer for the art walks. So that's how I ended
No,
up in that
Steve,
corner,
it's-
so.
I hope you know it wasn't at you at all. It's just that because we're in a transition and so many of us are new, there are just some tools that we don't know about yet, which is great.
Yeah, we'll get that all set up. And then just the one other thing I just wanted to mention, there was a previous Nicole who was the administrative person from the city.
Yeah.
And she had
You
asked,
never told me. I'm 3.
and-
I thought
and-
it's 2.
so she had asked a favor. This was probably 6 or 7 years ago. So I've been doing regular photography of the murals downtown, to monitor for damage, for wear, for original colors, color fading, for all the murals downtown. So I have all of that in my photo repository. If it's ever of need for the city or for any of the arts commissioners or anything like that, I just wanted to mention that was a thing that has happened. So
You can send those to me. That way I can put them on the city's website. For example, let's say we're talking about Nicole Sanders here and I replace Nicole Sanders. If I go and we don't keep this line of information, that's the only place that the next version of Nicole Sanders and Dilla Gamble would seek out that kind of information.
okay,
So
yeah.
yeah, and then that way I can add it to it and I'll have it as well for my reference. I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, and these are not artistic photographs. These are like up closes. These are just like brick by brick of. It's a bunch of photos, but
Okay,
Wow.
perfect.
we
No,
got
that I think that could come in handy for. No, thank you. I appreciate that you did that over time. That's wonderful.
Steve, I just have to comment real quick. I love the fact that you have Bob Ross on the wall in your office.
right. Thank you. I am in meetings all day with people that don't appreciate Bob Ross. So
My daughter has a pair of Bob Ross socks, so I just had to.
excellent.
One of my employees' kids was Bob Ross for Halloween.
Oh, excellent.
Literally walked around with and he had yeah,
That's
it was
awesome.
pretty cute. It was.
I actually used to, in the early part of my involvement with the Arts Commission, I would be an artist in action and I would just pick a Bob Ross painting and just do it over and over again and just like for 2 hours. Because you can do them in 15 minutes, right? So
Yeah.
That's
It's
awesome.
fantastic.
Yeah, my kids called him Mr. Fluffy Soft Voice. That
That's
that was
about
his
right.
name. Yeah, they like,
That's
and-
pretty accurate.
yeah.
It's Fluffy describing the voice or
The hair.
The hair.
Now, do we have other business? Other comments, thoughts? So we are not having a meeting in December. Our next one would be in January.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good.
And even this is an extra one, so
Yeah,
compared to last
compared to the
previous years.
previous years.
But I think
We're
that the
overachievers.
Yeah.
Good job. Good job, team.
It's also a pivot away from the summer rush, let the rest die. Now it seems like the goal is to kind of fill in the spaces and shrink the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it makes sense that we might end that pattern.
Mhm.
It's good with me. I'm fine. December is a little tricky. If you
Yeah.
want to have a meeting mid-December, we're.
I think it's for everybody.
Yeah.
It's tough. December, yeah, there tends to be a lot going on. It's tough.
I'll call in from another state. I've done it before. I'll do it again.
Yeah. Okay. Did you want to adjourn then at group and Donna?
I have no further business updates, or I'll send out our final listing and then some notes about in the January meeting. So that gives us all a month and a half, 2 months to nail down some dates and kind of draft out some project planning,
Sounds good.
like what, like. And I think we'll do great next year. And guess what? We'll learn from it and we'll grow and we'll do great the following year. We'll just continue. So, good
Yeah.
meeting though, good year.
Yeah.
And we had a lot of changes 2022. Holy cow. Made it through.
Yeah. 20, just the last 3 years has been,
Give a round of
Wow.
applause.
A round of applause.
Yeah, that was
All
what it
right.
was.
So
All right.
move to adjourn.
I would say yes, we move to adjourn.
I second that.
all right. Good night, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Good night.
Good night.